Hi, I'm Fred Gossen. This is What's Left. However, the biggest regrets people experience later in life, before I get to the five regrets, I can tell you maybe my biggest regret is that I remember when I was 40 thinking, well, that's it. It's all over. I hadn't achieved the real big things that I wanted, but it didn't matter because I had all three of my kids by then. It's funny, when I accepted that all the things that I thought I had to achieve in life, they just weren't going to happen now. They happened. I achieved my biggest success around the age of 41 or 42. I honestly experienced success beyond what I really ever thought I would, and yet not as much as I would have hoped to. So and then I remember at 50, I was just directing TV shows. I'd had my own TV show and I was a lead in somebody else's TV show. And I was at the height of my success at 50, and I thought, well, this is it. It still wasn't the end. I still see myself as like in my late 30s until I happen to glance into a mirror. And then I start to have a series of mini strokes. Who the fuck is this old man and what has he done with Fred? Long story long, that's my regret. Because if I live to be 80, I'm going to look back on 60 and be like, you did it again. You did it again because now you're old, but that wasn't really old. The 60s are the first decade where I'm starting to feel old. People are always like, oh no, 50 is the new 40, but nobody ever says 60 is the new 50. You ever notice that? The best you're going to get is, hey, you look good for 60. You're a Hollywood 60. It's not so much about dying. I think we all just prefer being younger. There is the whole thing of like losing relevance. People in their 20s now, if I walk by them on the street, I'm a ghost. They do not even see me. That's this generation. I would look to people that had 20, 30 years in the business and try to glean information from them because they'd been through it. That's not so much what Gen Z is all about. They think they got it all figured out, and they don't. They don't. Life's regrets. These are the five main ones I kept coming up with when I was researching this. Not pursuing dreams. Many people wish that they'd followed their passions and pursued their dreams more vigorously. This often includes regrets related to career choices, creative endeavors, personal ambitions that were set aside for more conventional or secure paths. I just explained a little bit of I experienced that somewhat, but I let go of it. And by letting go of it, oddly, it's kind of like if you want to fall in love, like it's trying to do that's crazy. But as soon as you can't fake stop, you can't pretend stop. But if you stop, quite often it'll find you. And my success found me, I was making bar mitzvah videos. I thought that's what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. Number two, spending too much time at work. This is a big one. I do have that regret as well. I was I Mr. Mommed my kids because my career didn't take off till I was 42. So I had established a presence with them in their, say, 0 to 6, 7, 8-year-old years. We need to brush your hair.
No,
No?
I don't.
You don't want your hair brushed?
No.
You just like it like this?
Yeah.
You look like Janis Joplin. That'll work.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, Dada.
You want to wash your own hair?
Yeah.
All right, here. Hold your hand out.
Here.
And then at that point, I became so busy that I feel like I was less present than I would have liked to have been from there 7 to 8 to 12, 13, 14, 15. It's not like I was MIA, but I quite often thought while on the road doing work, it often crossed my mind that I wish I was able to be as present as I was earlier. It never didn't matter to me, though. The amount that I was working and the success I was achieving was giving us a better quality of life. My oldest son, Eli, I was 13 when his band at the time booked a gig at the Whiskey A Go-Go. At the time that he was playing his gig, I was working up in San Francisco. I worked and I took a commuter flight down from San Francisco to LA, took a taxi from the airport straight to the venue, watched the show, and flew back right afterwards because I was not going to miss that because you just can't get that stuff back. I feel like I was present while the kids were growing up. Like I that was important to me. Whenever I was with them, I was really with them. They just turned into great human beings, and I just love them dearly. They are my best productions. So, number three, not expressing feelings. This is a big one too. Regret often arises from a failure to communicate feelings, whether it's telling someone you love them, apologizing, or expressing discontent. Many people wish that they had been more open and vulnerable in their relationships. I'm conflict averse. Like I'm phobic of conflict. So people that aren't, they smell that like a dog smells fear. Instead of being compassionate about it, they exploit you, and that's always made me really angry about myself. I don't want to say, hey, blah, 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 because I don't want to be the asshole. I'm trying to get better at that as I get older, but I'm trying to get better at being an asshole. People will walk all over you if you let them. My communication skills with my mom in the last years of her life were not awesome, and I regret that. You know, um, I ironed things out with her before she died, but it was then that just left precious little time to enjoy that time. And just if there's things you got going on with family and friends, and they mean something to you, get over it. Like what are you what are you hanging on to? We're only here for this short time. And the people that really matter to you, you can't just cast them aside, and you shouldn't ignore them because you'll regret it. Neglecting health, yes, yes. As people age, they often regret not taking better care of their physical and mental health. Yeah, that's totally me too. This can include regrets about poor lifestyle choices such as diet, exercise. I've never exercised really. I hate it. But I was always thin. Now that I'm over 60, I'm not. I am thin. It's like I look like a golf ball with toothpicks in it. Like it's just right in the middle. I'm not filling out. I hate exercise. I always have. There's been different times when I've been better about it than others. I just can't get lost in it. I want to be able to enjoy that endorphin rush that it brings on. Running on a treadmill, I'd rather shove a pencil in my eye. And mental health too. I'm a mess. And I've never really confronted it. I've been to therapy at different points in my life to limited results. I think the best thing I ever did was to learn transcendental meditation. When I meditate and I'm doing it properly, it's difficult with a TM because you've got to get up and then you allow 20 minutes of time to do your morning meditation. And then before you go to sleep, it's supposed to be an hour or so before you go to sleep. You're not supposed to do it while you lie in bed. I do it while I'm going to sleep all the time because I'm telling you what, as soon as I start to meditate and do my mantra, I am out in like 2 minutes. It's crazy. When I am patterned and doing it properly, you get grounded in sync with other people that are doing TM anywhere in the world. It's not the collective consciousness of it, but there is an energy that you get from it. It's really it helps me. It helps me. Losing touch with friends. That's a big one. That's number 5 here. You just do. Life happens. And if I'm up, then I'm reaching out. If I'm down, I don't really want to share that with others, so I isolate. My best friends are still my friends from high school and just a few years out of high school. At a certain point, you just stop letting new people in. I don't mean to, but as far as like making really tight connections, you meet people and they let you down anymore, it seems like. Wow, this has been a real upper episode, huh? I'll tell you what, the painting helps me too. That's information that's really geared towards somebody who's a little bit younger than this show is for. Honestly, if you're 40 and you're thinking any of the things that I just said, there's so much life left. If quantum computing and all these things that are supposed to come to pass within the next 5 to 10 years really come into play, they're saying that AI can figure out cancer and all these things that kill people so early. People will live to be 90 and 100 and still be fit and walking around because they'll have all that stuff figured out. Diabetes and things that we can't wrap our head around. It might just within a couple minutes go, oh, would you try this? Thank you, quantum computer. We never thought of that. I'd hate to like drop dead 5 years before they figured out what it was that took me out. You know what I mean? Like I would love to be old and spry, but I don't want to be old and decrepit. I don't know. What's left, folks? What's left? So until next time, I should have a slogan. I should have like a catchphrase. Like, well, until next time, may all your times be next. That's an Andy Kindler joke, just to give credit where credit's due.
I'm Andy Kindler. I'd like to end this segment with a catchphrase, something that you can remember me by, so that when you're not watching Spin Cycle, all week you'll be going, remember the guy, and at the end of the thing, he says, I can't wait to see him. So here's my catchphrase. Well, that's the way I saw it when I was thinking about it. Until next time, may all your times be next. Well, that's the news. How about one of those old Dennis Miller things before he became a right-wing lunatic? I am no longer doing the segment. So I'm Andy Kindler. Until next week, why not? Huh? It has to have the huh.
A man who I adore and have not talked to in a long time.